welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to use the selection of Neocolor 1 crayons, which you will have seen in a video. I swatched them out recently. I'll pop that link here. I may dip into my backups and I've got a few extra colours here, I think 11 that I don't have in here. And I'm going to draw this in my Royal Talons A4 sketchbook. I'm going to do it as a time lapse because it is going to be quite slow. It'll probably take me about 25-30 minutes, and I know that's like watching paint dry. So I'll do a time lapse, and I've got some questions that I'd been asked months ago for a future Q&A that never got recorded, so I thought I'd answer some of those whilst I time lapse me doing this. Let's go. So I've actually gone all out and found a mic in order to make sure that this is clear, because I don't do voiceovers very often. Bizarrely, I'm holding the phone to my mouth at the same time, even though my mic is further away. Anyway, I'm waffling. So with the questions, I'm going to start with the ones that were on my YouTube community feed. And the first one is from Jess, who is also known as Jess Butterfly 1934. Their first question, have you always enjoyed art? The answer to this is a resounding yes. I used to love drawing when I was younger. I studied art and design. So for GCSEs, we had to pick two art subjects. I did painting and drawing, wasn't very good at it. And I did ceramics, and I enjoyed both. Then I kind of got distracted. I was, you're led to believe at school that there's no money in art and to get a proper job. So I ended up going into childcare. I went to college to study, I was going to study nannying and NNEB, but I got pushed because my grades were supposedly good to do teacher training instead, and I really didn't enjoy it. So I quit after 3 months, and I lied to my parents and told them, I can't remember what I told my parents, but I told my tutor that my parents were fine with me quitting and that I was going to get a job at a cafe. I don't remember what I did, but for about 3 months nobody was any the wiser. And then I went into, oh gosh, this is going to be long-winded actually, isn't it? Maybe I should stop there. Yeah, I'll stop there. But I have always enjoyed art, and I did end up going back to school later in life after years of nannying. I travelled the world as a nanny. I lived in the Bahamas, in New York. I worked for families that did a lot of travel, and so I was able to see quite a lot of the world, which was great. Albeit I didn't get to do much of my own personal stuff while travelling, but I still got to see places, which is really cool. Then when I got back in the UK, I studied art at foundation level before going on to study fashion design. Is your other job a creative outlet for you, or has it just become something you do for money? Ooh, that's tricky. So the problem is, when you have a passion, something that you're really excited about, it can be really, really easy to do that as your job. And then because you're doing it for I'm a bit of a workaholic, so I don't work for 8 hours. I normally work for about 10 to 12. I'm always being nagged, and I forget sometimes to take weekends off. It's not very healthy. But when you're doing that for your work, then what your passion is ends up not being fun anymore. And that's why I have this channel, realistically, is because art is a creative outlet for me. I have dreams and aspirations when it comes to art, but I'm not in a hurry for those to come true, because that would then turn it into something that was done for money, so to speak, because I would be earning a living from it. So while I have been doing this art journey and documenting it here on this channel, it means that I've had more enjoyment with what I do for my business. I hope that answered your question, Jess. Do you find fashion has more to do with creativity or more to do with dealing with people? Well, the thing is, since moving to the Netherlands, I've not done fashion as in designing collections. I did for the big project, which you know about, but I haven't designed any fashion collections since being here. So the last time I actively created a collection, it was for me about creativity. It's not about dealing with people. I make one-off, made to order, made to measure, custom. Like, I have a collection that I design, and then I would make those for people who wanted to order one, and it would be made to their sizing. I don't like to just create for the sake of creating. It's very wastagey, is that a word? And unsustainable. Do I enjoy it? I enjoy the design process. I enjoy the construction process. I do not enjoy making more than one of anything. I find it boring and monotonous. I think that's my attention span. I enjoy thinking of it as a problem that needs to be solved. So pretty much it. I love watching It's tricky actually because I enjoy it, but I'm also disillusioned because of how exploitative the fashion industry is. And yeah, when I am practicing, I enjoy it. And when I'm not, I kind of miss it. So, would you be able to have a look at some of your designs that you've created? If you want, I will link a video that's on YouTube from years ago. It was my graduate fashion week collection shown at London Fashion Week. It's got a tune in there that's a bit sweary, and it was based on gangsters, and it's women's wear. I'll link that below. And also I would have put some images on screen, but I'm doing a drawing at the same time as saying this, so maybe I'll do that as well. Do I have artwork from when I was very young? Yes. Can you see it? Maybe. When I was home recently, I actually wanted to record, because I've got all my GCSE art still there. My mum kept all my ceramics. I've slowly been getting rid of stuff, but I did find it when I was going to record kind of like a what I did when I was a teenager video, but I was ill and I couldn't really speak, so that will come out at a future date if there's interest in it. Do I have siblings? Yes, I have 2 brothers, one older, one younger. Are there other arty people in your family and friend circle? My dad can draw silly cartoony faces. Other than that, he's not much of a drawer. My mum, no, she wasn't a drawer or arty, although she was creative. She used to do like knitting and crochet. My brother can draw, my little brother. I think my older brother could, but he doesn't. My sister-in-law draws. I'm always encouraging people in my family to be more creative and arty. And in my friends circle, I'm friends with a lot of poets because my fiance is a poet. So if you count poetry as arty, then yes. And yeah, that's kind of it. Most of my friends aren't really arty at all, actually. That might be another reason why I have this channel. What's my favourite medium? My favourite medium changes depending on my mood. I started out really loving, I spent a lot of money and time building up my watercolour collection, but I very rarely use it at the moment. And lately I've been loving colour pencils. At the moment, as of recording this, I am obsessed with my Neocolor 1 crayons, just because they really allow me to simplify whatever it is that I'm drawing. It allows me to simplify it. If I was stranded on a desert island and could only take 5 art supplies, and that includes the medium paintbrushes, pencil rubbers, what would you take? Oh, well, I don't really use rubbers like erasers. What would I take if I could only take 5 art supplies? Okay, is it 5 single items? I guess this is the question. Or is it 5 sets of things? If it was going to be 5 individual items, I'd take my, I don't know. I'm going to leave that question for the next one, actually, because this is already 9 minutes and I've got to think about how long this video is. What is it like where I live? It's lovely. When it's not raining endlessly, it's really, really lovely. It reminds me a bit of Cambridge in the UK, which is the town closest to where I grew up. And there are cobbled streets, there are canals, there are boats, there are people on bicycles, there's lots of green. When the sun's out, it's absolutely beautiful. People uptown are lovely when I pop uptown. And yeah, when it's raining, it's depressing because it's grey and you look out the window and it's just grey, but I think that's true of anywhere. But I do like it here. What are some really beautiful places there? Could we see some photos or go on a walk with you? Oh, that's a really good idea for a video, Jess. So I'll save that for a future video. It sounds like you get to travel a fair bit. Do you enjoy travel? Yes, I love travelling. I've always enjoyed travelling. I've always enjoyed seeing new places, and I get envious of David, my fiance, when he goes to new places. Like, I love seeing like the history of a place. I love watching people in their place, in their habitat, like where they live. I really enjoy travel. I don't enjoy so much the sitting on a plane and being sneezed on and coughed on and people being rude, because people can be really narky and miserable on airplanes nowadays. It used to be so much more pleasant when I was younger, but you know. And then the final question for Jess is, from Jess I should say, do you have a favourite artist and fashion designer? My favourite artist is probably Frida Kahlo, and I'm not sure why, but I always feel drawn to her work. And then fashion designers, I've always loved Vivienne Westwood as the fashion designer. As a brand, also Vivienne Westwood, but I really love what Balenciaga created under Nicolas Gasquet back around 2010 to 2013. I just think he was really good at making that brand commercial and getting people to want it. And he played around a lot with, he doesn't work there anymore, but he used to play around a lot with textiles within collections, and I really love that. Okay, that's all those questions. That's 13 minutes, so I'm not sure how I'm going to cut this down to fit the time lapse. that I recorded, which was about 8.5 minutes. Thanks for all those questions. I've got loads more. Jess did a massive question dump, which is great because I was worried there'd be none. So I will come back in next week's video and answer the remaining questions, because I've already recorded that video and I know that one's a longer one. So I'll get to the remaining questions then. If you have any questions that I haven't covered, then do pop them below this video and I will add those to the list too. Here is the finished one, as you would have seen me complete it. There's the photo again. I was really enjoying it up until I put the branches in. So I might have a second attempt and maybe make the boat bigger, because the water's not quite how I wanted it either. I feel like this didn't really need to be here. I probably would have liked a bit, well, I don't know. See, I'm picking and nitpicking. What I love about the crayons is that I can just get blocks of color down and then I could work on a different idea using this as the base. It's a really good, I struggle with simplification, and I find the Neocolor 1 crayons perfect for helping me to simplify. So now I could take this into something else because I've got just key shapes and colors down. Anyway, I'm waffling, sorry. Thank you for watching. The next video, we will be doing the cat, which is here. So this was taken local to me and I have zoomed it in. I used my nifty gadget, a view catcher. I'll link it below if you don't have one. It's brilliant. I use mine all the time. I think I got it on Jackson's. And yeah, I put it here. And I'm going to do this in the next video. So stay tuned for that. Thanks again for watching and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Take care. Bye.